You didn't see me get mad.
You said
I don't like disingenuousness. No, I said I don't like disingenuousness. It wasn't about the word. It's about the fact that people who use the word to say you're incorrect, you're a fanatic, you're a hotep. They're just as ignorant as the people who they're throwing that word on. That's the point.
That right there. Let's explain why that's true or false. Let's dive into that. Are people who use the word hotep just as dumb as hoteps? let's break that down.
Listen to them. Some of them are. You hear the things they say. First off, they're too general in there. They're not specific. They don't know about specific sites. They don't know about specific sources. They're just very general, and they're just like, no. They do the white man isolation.
White man.
No, I'm gonna tell you. See, he's laughing. I'm being serious.
We got a suit on here, man.
I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean. Before you laugh, I want you to listen to what I'm saying. And if you agree, you agree. If you don't, you don't.
If you say something funny, I'm going to laugh, bro. You funny.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's totally fine. If you want to laugh, go ahead, right ahead and laugh. But I just want to be able to get the point out. This is what I mean by the white man isolation history. The white man does. Now, listen, I want to be clear. I am not claiming Egypt ancestry. My ancestors come from West and Central Africa. I'm an African American.
And Europe.
I have 2 shelves. Hold on. I want to make something clear. I got 2 shelves and a half full of books, primary sources, just on African American history alone. Okay, just on that alone. We are like, don't get me naming the people. Don't play that with me because you're gonna find out real fucking quick. Okay, don't play that with me. I know my history. Go find somebody else, my man, because I ain't the one. But what I'm talking about with isolation history, and some of these Negroes fall into that trap. What they do is what the white man does. He comes into your land and starts situating things around. Say, you stay over here and don't you move. You stay over there and don't you move. I am not telling you that ancient Egyptians migrated to West Africa. I'm just trying to make the point to you. This is what they do. You're a West African and you were never over there. You're from East Africa and you were never over there. They come up with a term called Sub-Saharan Africa. Nobody was using that term before they came up with it. They literally said, you're in Sub-Saharan Africa. That's where you come from. You stay your ass down there. And then you get Negroes, and I'm landing right here. You can respond to it, and I want to hear your response. You get Negroes in the modern era. They come right along. Okay, Mr. Doing the white man thing. Oh, you guys don't come from up north. You come from Sub-Saharan Africa.
You do.
No, that's what the white man said. You're just a parrot. You're just a parrot.
You do come from Sub-Saharan Africa. We have the archaeology, the anthropology. We have the genetics. We have everything at our disposal that proves that majority of our ancestors either come from Sub-Saharan Africa in the Western region or Western Europe. You mentioned Africa, and the thing is, we're talking about Egypt, but you literally do have ancestry that goes back to Britain, Scotland, Western European locales, probably France, probably German. You literally got ancestry there, and we can prove those things. What we can't prove is a literal connection to Egypt. And now Sub-Saharan Africa, that's dealing with geography, okay? We understand that the Sahara is acting as a dividing barrier from the north and the south of the continent. That is
But it wasn't always a barrier, though.
It's a barrier during the dynastic period, which you guys love to invoke.
Not necessarily.
Yes, it is. The Eastern Sahara. I can get into. I know the evidence. I literally do shows about this all the time.
Why is Yeshub not allowed to finish saying what he was saying? Nobody interrupted you while you were speaking. Just let him land his plane, and then you can say what you want, bro.
So it's very, again, we literally have a barrier that limits human gene flow from the north side of the continent to the south side of the continent. In the Eastern Sahara dried up first before the Western Sahara did. So we're talking about 5,500 years ago. This is before Dynasty Zero, like you guys always try to bring up. So Egypt, what they had going on was completely, dynastic Egypt is completely separate to what was going on in the western side of the continent. This is one of the things that have, isolation. No, after the desiccation, after the Green Sahara dried, 5,500 years ago.
Okay.
And that we have a new study that just came out this year. I know Ivry is well acquainted with it. You're well acquainted with it. About the two women that got their DNA sequence about 8,000 years ago, and that proves that was not a lot of human gene flow coming from outside or the north down south into sub-Saharan Africa. So yeah, Africa is a huge continent, and there are populations that are separate and disparate from each other and distinct from each other. West Africans, Congolese, Nigerians, Benin, Togo, Senegalese, these people are very different than an Egyptian, Libyan, or Tunisian. Those are the facts. And we can go over those facts all night. And I land my plane.
All I'll say is this right here. You know, this is light work for me, I'm telling you the truth. All I'll say is this right here. Hey, Grease Harry, you know me, okay? If you want to set it up, we can have a discussion where, and I'm only using academic sources. I'm only using academic sources because that's the only thing I care about. I care about the collegiate stuff. I care about the peer review stuff because I don't really want to get into the stuff that is in peer review because I don't want to sound biased, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. I need the collegiate stuff, okay? Because that's where the biggest shakers and movers are when it comes to that move the needle on this subject. If you want to set it up, Yashu, we can have a discussion where you present your sources and I'll present my sources and we'll see where it lands. I'm not saying that personally, I'm not saying that ancient Egypt were a carbon copy of sub-Saharan Africans, but this is what I will say. I'm not saying that at all. What I will say is I reject this idea that the Sahara created this barrier to where there was just this little tiny trickling down of black people. Okay, what I would submit to you is this here: that the people
this black word.
You cut me off, bro. I'm just using that at convenience. Don't cut me off like you told me about him. Now you doing it. You came on the mic, spoke.
I'm not cutting you off.
Yeah, you are. You talking while I'm talking. You talking while I'm talking.
I was speaking to myself.
Okay, why are you speaking out loud?
Sorry if you heard me.
Speak it out loud. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I just want to finish my thought. Sir, I want to finish my thought, sir. Please.
I was speaking aloud.
Sir, can I finish my thought? Thank you. I got it. Speak it. Sir, thank you. I want to finish my thought, sir. Please. Okay? No disrespect. All I'm saying is that this is what I would tell you. I'll wrap it up with this. This is what I would say to you. I want you to understand my point, so you won't get my point misconstrued. I want to tell you straight up what my point is. My point is this here. I would submit to you, and I'm willing to stand on this and prove this. I will submit to you that the people in Upper Egypt, from Madarian culture, Tarifian culture, the Western Desert, where you see Gifkaber, when you go into Sudan, Khartoum, all the way up to A group, Nubia, all the way up there, and all up in that area. I would say to you that those people, middle to Upper Egypt, that those people all the way down to Aswan and beyond, like I said, those people, including the Western Desert where the Yellow Nile is, I will tell you, I will submit to you that those people are the same people, primarily a underlying Nubian stock, and I'll bring the sources to prove that. Like, that's what I'm saying. Now, when you go to where the agriculture came in, it's at and I'm getting a blank on the site. It's called, right on the western side of the Nile. You got A and B, where the agriculture came in. It'll come to me in one second.
Fayoum.
Yeah, the Fayoum. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. The Fayoum. When you go up there to the Fayoum, where the agriculture came in, you go up there to Marimde culture, Tel and Farka, places like that. I will admit to you that those people, they were mixing with Asiatics. I have no problem with saying that. We know Asiatics have been in there since the pre-dynastic time. That is not my argument whatsoever that Asiatics came into Africa. What I reject is this idea that Asiatics had a foundation to that culture. The culture came from Upper Egypt, the part of Egypt that's closest to the Sudan. And my argument is that those people and the Sudanese people come from an underlying genetic affinity. That's the point that I'm making.
What is that underlying genetic affinity?
People who we would call Nubians today in the archaeological record.
I understand that. Hold on.
If they're not Nubians, tell me where they come from. I want to hear this shit.
Can I answer him?
I'm asking, what is your genetic makeup? You just said something and you didn't give me any genetic makeup. You're just saying Nubian. I know what Nubians are made up of genetically. I know what they're made up of. So I'm asking you a question. Because you just made a very, you made a statement, like you stamped the statement about the Nubian culture or the Nubian dynastic period or prior to the dynastic period, what they were. What is their genetic makeup, bro? Are they highly Eurasian? Wait, I'm going to ask you a question. Being that you're not giving me any genetic makeup, I'm saying, what African Nubian is still could be highly Eurasian. So I'm going to ask you again.
Can't be highly Eurasian. You just made that up.
I'm making that up. Oh,
Made that up.
I'm going to let you
Highly Eurasian.
All right.
Yeah, let him finish because you ain't making no sense. You ain't making no sense. I need somebody to make sense when they're speaking to me. Don't speak authoritatively and you're not making sense. If you're gonna speak authoritatively, make sense.
He's making sense on the point that Nubians have a heavy admixture with Eurasian peoples, and the reason why they do. The reason why.
That's not recent.
It's not recent. It's ancient. The reason why they do is because Egyptians migrated southwards and began to intermingle with these people, and their offspring have produced people that have high Eurasian ancestry. This is what the whole Illuminati. This is what the whole Illuminati graves that were dug up revealed in the surrogate. These surrogates for the Illuminati, you can look this up, Illuminati. The surrogates for the Illuminati, and the reason why these Sudanese people have this genetic affinity to Near Easterners is literally because the Egyptian interaction with people in the Sudan. The Egyptians literally conquered. Egypt was a lot smaller at the onset. They literally conquered what we know as Kerma or what we now call Sudan. That actually stretched into what is now Egypt and its southern border, what we call Upper Egypt. They actually stretched there, but they conquered them and they expanded their borders. While in doing so, they enslaved people and they also had sex with the women there, right? And then vice versa. These people had subsequent populations, and these children are the ones that are carrying Eurasian genes because of the Egyptians. The Egyptians themselves are highly Levantine adjacent, right? So I have an academic source here. This is from the University of Rome. This is Eugenia de Tenacio. It's the Trans-Saharan Connections, High Resolution Analysis of Human Y Chromosome Diversity. It says the analysis of EM78 haplogroup revealed an interesting link between Northern Africa, the Near East, and Southern Europe. In fact, we found
my man just gave up a haplogroup, right? He gave up an actual ancestry, but I'm gonna let him go on.
In fact, we found that.
78.
Yes, sir. In fact, we found that the chromosome, and I pointed out that it connects North Africa, Near East, and Southern Europe. In fact, we found that the chromosomes from these three areas clustered together after the Green Sahara period. This is what I was trying to explain to him. About 5,500 years ago, in the Eastern Sahara, it dried up, and now we're starting to see a particular nucleus of people there. It says we did not analyze all the SNPs included in the Mediterranean branches, and then it lists EV22, EV12, and EV65. So we cannot absolutely exclude the presence of region-specific clades. However, the similar distribution of the Y haplogroups, for example, EV257, EM123, JM267, JM172, GM201, TM70. Now, all the haplogroups I've listed thus far from this paper are haplogroups that are known for being in Eurasia, the Near East, Southern Europe, and Northern Africa. They share that in common. We don't see that in Sub-Saharan Africa at this clip. We don't. And it says end of the mitochondrial DNA lineages in the Mediterranean area. These are the women. These are the lineages passed down from women to women. Lineages in the Mediterranean area seem to suggest extensive contacts between Northern Africa, the Near East, and Southern Europe. Interestingly, concordant results have been obtained from genome-wide studies of modern or ancient humans, which found signals of Near Eastern/Southern European admixture in Northern Africa. In conclusion, this bulk of data indicates that the Mediterranean regions have been ceaselessly and extensively in contact over the last thousands of years. More specifically, after the end of the African humid period, Northern Africa was influenced by the Middle Eastern, Southern European events and vice versa. A consequence of this is that the Northern African populations became more and more genetically differentiated from the sub-Saharan ethnic groups. And that is the end of the paper. So Atanasio demonstrates that Northern Africa, This is Tunisia, Algeria, including Egypt and Libya, Morocco, is completely different genetically from Southern Africa. And it's because of the affinity between the Near East and Southern Europe. I land my plane.
Yeah, I got you. I'm going to ask you 2 questions, if you don't mind. Number 1, can you put the study in the chat so I can look that over? I have no problem with looking it over. That's what I do. I eat and breathe sources. That's number 1. Number 2, my question to you would be, what are they basing that study on? Are they basing it off of remains found in the ground, or are they basing it off of the modern people today? And just another clarifying question: what time periods are they basing the study on? Okay, give me the areas. No, it's not. Oh my God! Well, wait a minute. Hold up for a second. Quick sidebar. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, which is scrutinize the evidence to see what it says, what it doesn't say, and what are the limitations of it. And this guy has said, "Oh my God!" Like you have a bias, my man. You just look for things that support what you already believe. That's not how you do scholarship. If that study agrees or disagrees with me, I'm gonna read it regardless, man, because I want to see what the data says. It's not about agreeing with me and disagreeing with me. It's about what does the data say.
My position is.
Well, stop ad-libbing while I'm talking then. Stop ad-libbing while I'm talking. Stop ad-libbing while I'm talking, okay? Shut your fat mouth. Shut your fat mouth. I'm not even emotional. You need to shut your fat mouth, okay?
Keep it cordial, you guys. Keep it cordial.
I'm just saying, Green said, Harry, he's coming on. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Just ignore him.
Okay, all right.
Just ignore him.
Okay, thank you.
You're dialoguing with your shoe.
Okay. All I'm saying to you, good brother, is can you put it in the chat? Can you tell me what are the areas that were tested? Was it from fossils found, or was it from the modern people? Okay, because a lot of what I found with these studies, where they talk about the Eurasian invasion, if you will, okay? That study is primarily done, and I'll pull it up. I've read actually 2 sources for it. That study is actually done on the modern people, and it's more of a theory versus anything substantive, because whenever I look at these studies on the actual fossils, okay, the actual skulls coming up out of the Middle Egypt and the Upper Egypt, okay, they show strong affinity to those people in the Sudan and not too much the Horn of Africa. Strong affinity.
More phrenology or genetics?
Craniology and the genetics. Okay. Egypt at its origins, volume 6. I'll pull it up. I have it. Egypt at its origins.
Slow down. If you want to answer some question, I got some question real quick myself. So you said chronology and genetics. Let's leave the chronology to the side because that's pseudo as hell. What genetics?
Chronology isn't pseudo. You don't get to say something pseudo just because you said so. How is it pseudo and it's published in a major work like Egypt at its origins, volume 6? What the hell are you talking about? That is a major Egyptological conference where Gold, G-O-D-D et al. 2018 is publishing. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Come on, man.
Chronology is faulty. Chronology doesn't determine ancestry.
Craniometry.
There's no geneticist that'll tell you chronology determines ancestry. So let's leave that to this side.
Exactly. Chronology does not substantiate ancestry. It's very faulty. Because you can
evidence and a long line of evidence. You guys are jumping the gun by saying that I'm trying to make a point that it's the sole teller of ancestry. I didn't say any of that. You are saying that. It's one piece of evidence of a
ancestry. You're saying South Sudanese. You said Sudanese.
You said you had genetics to make your point. What genetics do you have? Because it's not
okay. There you go. Thank you.
No genetics.
Genetics. Okay.
Oh, okay. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. This guy just said there is a genetics. Give me 1 second.
Wait, but I want to answer your question. You said what time frame? I literally said it after I read the source, what it was saying.
Can you put the chat in this? Can you put it in the chat so I can look that over? Can you put it in the chat so I can look it over?
But I will. But when I'm telling you, did you hear me say that this is after the African human period? So when the desiccation and drying of the Sahara occurs, we start to see a greater, even greater affinity with the Near East and Southern Europe with North Africa. That's in the paper.
Okay,
that's what the paper said.
So I can look at it.
Right,
Look it over.
right.
Put the source in the chat,
I
so
got
look
you.
it over.
I got you, and I will. But so you asked me that question. I'm answering you. It's in the source.
Okay, I want to look it over. Like, I want to look it over.
Look it over, man. We all know who the real ancient Egyptian is, man. You guys
I
all
want to
know
look it
it
over.
Oh, we got
all
we.
know who it is.
We got a troll in here. Who is this? Who we talk to?
I'm not a troll.
Who is
I'm not
this?
a troll. Do you guys know who the real Egyptians are?
The,
Let me tell you.
the people that are there today.
No.
The people that are there today.
No, just ask me the question. I'll tell you who it is.
Or we can refer to the scholars in the field.
No, it's the Somali. Us Somalis are there, and we're the real Egyptians. We've been always the real ancient Egyptians, okay?
Okay, can I give you a caveat? Can I give you a caveat?
Yes.
Here's the caveat. The reason why.
Put the source in the chat.
Let
So I
him
can
give
read
us the caveat, man. Let him go. Go
I
ahead.
want him to put the source in the
Hey,
chat so I can read it.
hey, hold on real quick. Ivory, I'm gonna put because I'm on my computer and doing this at the same time. So what I'm gonna do is give you the title to that paper, Ivory, and I want you to put it in the chat for me.
All right.
There it is. There.
What's the caveat? What's the caveat?
The caveat is this. The caveat is the reason why you see Eurasian genes going south into places like Sudan, even far as Tanzania, is because of Egyptian people migrating south. So what you're saying, oh, we're the real Egyptians, there is some truth to that because Somalians or Somali, however y'all say it, are highly admixed themselves. And you guys have y'all got an Iranian Caucasus component, which is most likely given to y'all via people in Egypt or people related to Egyptians migrating south.
You're saying we were sex slaves, like the Egyptians fucked our women, and this is what happened.
No. Your ancestors came down there and had sex with the locals during that time. That's what I'm telling you.
So my ancestors fucked an Egyptian woman, and that's how the Egyptians were created. Is that what you're saying?
No, you missed everything I said.
No.
I'm saying
Somali women.
The-
So Somali women.
the
came down
forger-
from Egypt, and they
Your
fucked
Egyptian
Somali
ancestors, but
women.
Somali women is what he said.
Say it again, Tyrone. Tyrone, say it again. Tyrone,
He's
say
saying
that
your
again.
ancient Egyptian ancestors, Somali women.
yes. Egyptian males, let me say it again. Egyptian males or people related to Egyptian males migrated southwards and had sex with local women in these regions that we now know as Somali, regions that we now know as Ethiopia, Sudan, etc.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. No way.
That's exactly what happened.
My women are whores. By the way.
That's not what that means. Your women are women. They have vaginas.
Why are you saying that? Why are you going to that extreme? Hold on, Ivory. Shit, man. Fuck this shit, bro. Hold on. Why are you saying that your women are whores?
He's trolling.
Why are we going that far?
He's trolling.
We fucked Egyptian women, and that's how the Egyptian race was
But
created.
the Y chromosomes are Eurasian, so which means that Eurasian
If
men
we
came
look
in
at
and
our
did
DNA,
this.
they say the scholars say the DNA from Egyptian men, ancient Egyptians, come from the Somali men, specifically the Hawaiians, right, and the MJs. It comes from their DNA, and it's not vice versa.
It is vice versa. You can't be older than your ancestors.
Exactly.
It's a reason why you're highly Eurasian. Have you taken a DNA test?
No, I have not.
I guarantee you, you're 30 to 40% Eurasian. And the reason why you're 30 to 40% Eurasian is because of that migration I just explained to you.
Fuck. I gotta do my research, man. I'll be back.
Ciroc et al. 2021.
The source is in the chat, by the way.
You got it for him?
It's in the chat.
I'll be back, man. I'll be back. I'm gonna do my research.
Okay, so for what I was explaining to him, you can all go to Ciroc et al. 2021. And basically in that paper, it basically says that the what we see in Nubians and people going south of Egypt, the Eurasian, West Eurasian related ancestry that these people have is from the Egyptians themselves. They are literally the surrogates of that DNA. So they migrate south and then boom, they start to mix with the locals. This is why the Kadruka sample that we found from 4,000 years ago in northern Sudan is like 40% Eurasian. Who are the people they're mixing with to get that Eurasian admixture? Egyptians. So it's clear who's providing the Eurasian DNA. And that Eurasian DNA is Levantine, Bronze Age, Iron Age like. This is why when the Kulubnarti Nubians were discovered and sequenced, they had 57.5% Eurasian DNA. This is why. And we know West Eurasian related ancestry was in the Nile Valley because we have samples and we have checked our autosomes, and our autosomes are highly Eurasian.
Ancient samples at that, just to be clear. We got ancient samples, modern samples. Ancient autosomes, modern autosomes. We can compare and contrast all day. We know exactly what it is, man. This whole dreamed up story of this south to north migration and south to north transmission of technology, like that's not how it happened, fam. It happened the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the whole idea, they go to the 11th or 12th century text where it says, the foothill of the moon. The foothill of the moon, brother, that means they come from Ethiopia. First of all, that's a mythical text. Right? Who cares what a mythical text says? Sure. Secondly, it doesn't match the damn DNA.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
There's studies about the Dominican Republic, brother.
No, it's not. It's called Trans-Saharan Connections. I don't know how you get Trans-Saharan Connection confused with the Dominican Republic.
See here. Hold up for a second. I'm just trying to make sure, man.
You know what? Can you come on YouTube?
It's Dominican Republic.
Can you come on YouTube and I can visibly show you?
Yeah, let's do that.
That would probably be better because you can actually show sources on like StreamYard if y'all went on YouTube or something.
Yeah, but I don't have StreamYard, nor do I have a.
No, StreamYard is free. All you gotta show is
We'll send you a link and you can come to the show.
yeah, you don't have to like purchase anything. It's free, but
You gotta
you can actually show your books and stuff. You can show your sources. I think that'll be better for everybody. That'll be beneficial for everybody.
You can come on our show. You come and do this on our show. We just send you the link. You jump on and you can show your sources.
Bro, I'll let you do your whole presentation. You can do a whole presentation, man.
You down, bro?
Yeah. But yeah. Let me see if I can find this saved on my computer. But anyway, yeah. What happened is Diop, Obenga, what's the other group? Renuka Rashidi, James Smalls, Dr. Daniel Cannon. They came up with this racial diffusion idea and they supported it. And it's literally a distortion of what actually took place. It's 2025 now. Most of those publications came out in the 70s. And Diop tells you in chapter 1 of his book that I began my research in 1946. That was 1 year removed from the World War II. The Second World War. No. I'm trying to give you an understanding that a lot of these ideas are antiquated and wrong. That's why I'm bringing up these dates.
Diop wasn't incorrect with everything he said, though. A lot of his ideas are starting to turn out to be true.
Okay, let's analyze his ideas.
Yeah, sure, we can analyze. I want to see if you actually know his thesis, though.
Gotcha. All right, so
I want to see if you actually know it.
We're gonna analyze.
Tell me what his thesis is.
Okay, hold on. I want to analyze some of his ideas. So this is from the African Origin Civilization Myth or Reality, page 186. And he literally says that the Latinized form of Horus, from which the Yoruba Orisha seem to derive, would lead us to think that their migration was not only later than the contact with the Greeks, but also in contact with the Romans. End quote. So he's basically saying the Yoruba migrate from Egypt after the Greek and Roman occupation or during the Greek and Roman occupation. And his argument for that is he says Orisha derives from the Latinized form of Horus. So he's saying, they have to know some Latin language. So therefore, this is when the Yoruba leave Egypt and make their way westward. This is literally in his book. This is false.
Okay. So here, stop for a second. So let's run it down like this, right? You're correct. So you got that wrong. See, this is what I don't like. It's like, well, if I find what, this is what I don't like, because it's this thing where it's like with black scholars, they have to be absolutely 100% correct in their thesis or hypothesis with everything they say, or therefore we can just dismiss everything and call them a kook and a crazy. Okay, he got that wrong. But that doesn't change the fact that a lot of his ideas are starting to become true. They have a whole exhibit at the Met Museum honoring Sheikh and the Diop, showing that there's some truth to his ideas. Okay, they're not 100% or they're endorsing his ideas. I'm not saying that, but they definitely have an exhibit, and I have the pamphlet that they put out for the exhibit. If you could make it to the museum, they are endorsing Diop, saying, "Hey, you know what? There is some truth to what this man is saying." And I would say this to you, as it pertains to North Africa, there's definitely some truth, because they're calling it the Sahara, the Sahara Techno Complex. I ain't call it that. The white folks call it that, and they say there was a cultural affinity across North Africa during the wet, dry phases, the Holocene. During the Holocene, there was a cultural affinity, of course, across North Africa. Diop has always talked about underlying cultural unity. He said, so when you look at that underlying cultural unity, it is easy to compare his, as an example, Wolof to ancient Kemet contemporary time because of the cultural underlying affinity. Now the white people are saying, at least for North Africa, they're saying that's a cultural affinity with the people of the Sahara. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, you said at least for North Africa, and the reason why, because in his book, he's saying all Negro peoples have that cultural underlying affinity. What did you say again? The cultural affinity. And he says in his book, a cultural foundation common to all African blacks. That's how he says it, which is false. It's false. The Egyptian language, the Egyptian language, they're not agreeing with this. The Egyptian language, the Met Museum understands that the Egyptian, hold on, let me finish. The Egyptian language is of the Afro-Asiatic family. It has nothing to do with any of the Bantoid languages or any of the Niger Congo languages at all. Separate languages. He was trying to say that they all come from a common source. Why? Because he believed that every Negro people on the continent of Africa disseminate from the Nile Valley, Egypt, and not just any time period, dynastic Egypt. That's literally what he says in his book. Literally.
I got you. Stick with the language for a second, because I like it. I like what you're doing here, brother. You're actually going to the source. And you at least you're doing that, and I respect that. Okay, and listen, I'm not here to tell you that every idea Diop ever put forth is correct. That's not the argument. This is not one of those type of people. Okay, what I'm saying, but Diop is the man, sir, because his arguments to me were some of the most forceful and strongest and very sophisticated. Let's be clear about something. Obiga, who is the linguist? See, he's the linguist. He is classically trained, okay? He is a member of the French Egyptological School. He's not a play, okay? That is a fact. Like, I've read every book by that man in English. He only deals in primary evidence. You can't find me one book where he's not dealing in primary evidence. Every one of his books is based off language and primary evidence. Prove me wrong. I've read every one of his books in English. What I'm telling you is this here. He has long suspected that the African language comes from up the Nile, somewhere around the Horn of Africa. Christopher Everett agrees with him. Okay, let me explain something. They just recently, I have the book. Those linguists just recently did a conference, okay, on the Egyptian language, and in that book, they are clearly telling you that the language now, they haven't totally divorced the Afro-Asiatic. That's how these scholars is, you know. They're like, they're not going to just abandon an idea, you know what I'm saying? Because they're scholars, right? Like, I'm not going to abandon my idea. But they are forced to reckon with what the African scholars have been saying for years. And they'll tell you that in that book, Christopher Everett even said that. He said, we cannot, it is hard, I'm paraphrasing, it is hard to keep the Egyptian language in this Afro-Asiatic matrix, this frame of Afro-Asiatic. He said it's hard for us to do it. And in that whole book is showing how the language is more African than anything. That's what that whole conference is about. When you go to James P. Allen, 2009, okay, Middle Egyptian, an introduction to the language and culture of hieroglyphs, 3rd edition. James P. Allen, he even tells you, now he still uses this dumbass term, Hamido-Semitic. He actually still uses that term. But he even says that the language is more African than Asiatic. He said that. This is a major Egyptologist who writes grammar for Egypt, who has the most authoritative pyramid text out there. He said it's more African than Asiatic. So this idea, like, you guys got to get up on the source material,
I think I'm well. I think I'm well acquainted. I think I'm well acquainted. I've provided sources so far thus far, but what you just stated was like it's arbitrary. Okay, it's in Africa. No one's saying ancient Egypt, the ancient Egyptian tongue, is not African or in the continent of Africa or surrounding African people or spoken by African people. No one's saying that. All we're saying is your man was wrong when he tried to say that all language and culture diffuses from the Nile Valley, dynastic Egypt. He was wrong, emphatically wrong. He was also wrong when he basically was trying to say that West Africans with Mongoloid features proves that there's a cultural relation between African and Americans. He was also wrong about that because now we know that shared features does not mean shared or direct correlation or ancestry. We know that for a fact. Just because people have almond-shaped eyes does not mean they're connected somehow with a Chinese person or with a Native American. People from different areas develop the same features. You can develop.
Champion when he's correct, and we respectfully retire him when he's wrong. Simple.
No, he was wrong a lot.
We champion him when he's correct, and we respectfully retire the elder when he's wrong. But let's be real about something. None of us would be here today talking about any of this if it wasn't for people like him. So let's just be careful there, and not get all high and mighty because we think we learned
what does
something.
that have to do with getting to the truth or the point?
I said we respectfully retire him when he's wrong, and we champion him when he's correct. What don't you understand about it?
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I understand. Wait, bro. I understand what you're saying, but what does that have to do with the actual facts that are being presented? So we're giving him a pass, and I get it. We're giving him a pass. Hold on.
I'm not giving him no pass. He giving him a pass.
You're not gonna let me land, so I'm gonna let you talk.
I apologize, brother. Go right ahead. I do apologize. I'm not gonna be rude to you, brother. Go right ahead.
So, like I was saying, the point is that I get it. We have to retire, like you said, retire the brother, the elder, when we find that his findings were wrong. That's cool, but you just drifted off the path of what we were at. Where we were at was the ancestry of these peoples, regardless of language, regardless to their culture, because culture and language is plastic. We're talking ancestry. And DNA proves out what the ancestry is. It's cool. Culture, if we're all in Africa, if all the ancient fathers, the ancients, period, was in Africa, there would be cultural exchange, there would be linguistic exchange. That has nothing, even like you brought up cranial earlier. Cranial, if you're admix, you can't take cranial and just say negroid or this, that, and the third, because cranial will not give you their ancestry still. It'll just tell you that these people were mixed. Some people, the phenotype or the shape of the cranium, may lean this way or may lean that way. Doesn't mean anything. The actual ancestry is what we're talking about. And the actual ancestry we're going to find out through DNA. So that's where we're supposed to stick at.
But here's the thing. I'm confused because what I'm hearing, I'm trying to understand with this genetic stuff because there's only been one study that I know of that sequenced the full genome. And that one study just was recently done. And even with that study, it said that he had 80% African and 20% something from over there. Like, I was
African doesn't mean West African. African can
I didn't say West African. I didn't say West African. I didn't say West African. Okay, why you bringing it up?
Because I'm bringing it up because this is what we try.
It's a distraction, brother. It's a distraction.
It's not a distraction. This is what we tend to do. This is what we tend to do. When we say African, those Eurasian clades, those Eurasians who were in Africa all the way back during the Bronze Age and before, going back to the Green Sahara, are today considered Africans. Those clades.
King Tut study, and it showed that his family, and it showed.
I was trying to make a point, and you cut me off again.
Go right ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
Like I said, ancestry, those certain clades would have been in Africa. R1b was in Africa during the Green Sahara. It was there. B88 was there. There was other clays, but that's Western or Sahelian. We're talking about clays. Listen, we can say that when you say African, it doesn't mean, for me, it doesn't ring us or West African derived peoples that's here in the West. That doesn't ring for me. Because African, when you tell me African, it could be North African, it could be Central African, it could be West African, it could be Eastern African, it could be Southern African. Africa is the most diverse genetic place on Earth prior to everybody dispersing out of it and back in. It's the most diverse place. So just because you say African, maybe when I hear African, I'm hearing black. That's all I'm hearing when you say African.
I got you. I just want to make one point. Here's why I challenge the people who bring genetic studies coming from the Western Desert, where we know Eurasian people. When you go to the Ibermarusian, we know about the Eurasian stock over there. We go to Gifka there. We know that I'm saying Nubian people mixed with people coming from Eurasia. They mixed together, and it was a blending of culture there, around 5,000 all the way up to 8,000 BCE. You see the rock art shelters, all of that over there. Okay, I'm saying Nubians and Eurasian people. That's my argument. It's a blending of culture between those two. That is the likely scenario that I've come to know from studying this stuff. Okay. But here's the question. This is the challenge I would make to these people who narrowly focus on one type of evidence. That is, in this case, genetics, and try to use genetics as the same way the dismissive was when I said cranium, even though I wasn't making the case, but it was still dismissive to say that, well, that's just one type of evidence. But then the same people that make that claim refer to the genetics. That's just one type of evidence. It's not even like, for me, genetics is not necessarily at the top of the list. Is it valuable evidence? Without a shadow of a doubt. This is a question I would ask, okay? Because basically what you're saying to me is that the people in the Sudan don't come from the Sudan. They come from somewhere outside of Africa, because the Sub-Sahara, okay, there's a desert there and there's a barrier there. So then who are these people in the Sudan? I'm confused about that.
Can I answer that?
Wait. Let me land. Here's the problem that I have. Okay, so you understand me clearly. When you look at the culture of ancient Kemet, go up there to I'm not moving off anything. No, this is my argument.
A second, bro.
Brother, I'm not even. No, let me make my argument. No, let me make.
You're moving off.
I'm not moving anything. Let me make my argument, brother. Brother, that was a sidebar to my argument. I didn't cut you off. That was a sidebar to my argument. Let me make my simple argument. You just ready to defend versus actually trying to hear my argument. If you would hear my argument,
you can't give me two different arguments at the same time. I'm not
giving you two. I'm giving you one. Let me make my argument. This is the argument that I'm making, okay? Because I'm saying that the people in Upper Egypt were Nubians, primarily. I can bring this up.
Nubians are very highly Eurasian.
Excuse me. Okay, so now, this is my question. Right, okay, you say that highly Eurasian. Okay, this is my question. Okay, I'm glad you said that highly Eurasian. This is my question then. Okay? If Eurasian people are at the foundation of ancient Egypt, you need to explain to me why all of the characters found in those hieroglyphs are characters that are primarily of African. Why all of the words that... Let me finish the point. Can I finish the point? Brother, let me finish the point. Brother, can I finish the point? What I'm hearing from you is black. You're not having a discussion, man. I want to finish my point. Let me finish my point. You're not having a discussion. You want to talk over me. Let me finish my point. My point is, when you look at those words for grain and things like that, none of those words are Eurasian words. If you're telling me, I'm just giving two examples. If you're telling me this boatload of Eurasian people came in, mixed so much with the people on the ground to where those people genetics are majority something from over there, you have absolutely no evidence of these people bringing in their own culture when you get to dynastic Egypt. How the fuck do you explain that? There's too many examples I can great.
So now
How
that
do you explain that? You make
I know what
absolutely
you're
no
saying.
sense, my man. None
Okay.
whatsoever.
Don't say don't make no sense. Allow me to explain. Allow me for a second. So culture and linguistics are plastic. As these people are coming in, these people have been there for millennia. They are learning the culture in the area. They're learning the language in the area, right? Just like we've been here, we only been here 400 years, right? And we mixed in with different people from Europe, and there's what you would call African. This is what I mean by when people use that word African. There are African Americans who can speak any language that any European people spoke. From Haiti, here in America, speaking French, Spanish, Portuguese. We speak anything. Language is plastic. We even pick up other people's culture, right? And we mix it into our original culture, and then it becomes like a patois or a Creole culture. This is no different than ancient Africa, ancient anything. All right. So these Eurasians come in. So I'm stuck on how we're not getting that. Even though these Eurasians come in, U5, U6, mitochondrial, R1B, V88 in Chad. All of these people come in and they speak Niger Congo as well as Sahelian languages or Semitic languages. This is nothing new. I think that people get stuck. People get stuck on, well, these people have to be, they are African. They've been there long enough to be called African. They was there millennia ago. You can't say that they're not African. Yes, they may be Eurasian, but they've been in Africa long enough to be considered African or African. When I hear African, I hear, especially when it comes from, I'm trying to be very kind with my words, but I'm gonna just say it bluntly, Afrocentrics. When I hear African, they just saying black Africans. These people are dark skinned. These Eurasians are coming in, and they're coming in maybe medium to dark skin and mixing with other people in the region. Like this is where I get lost at with everybody's. This is where I get lost with everybody's points when they try to say just African. These Eurasians are African.
Let me ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a simple question. Can you bring me, anybody can do it right now. Can you bring me one study right now? I don't need 2 or 3. Can you bring me one up-to-date, reputable, peer-reviewed study, okay, from any reputable scientific body that will support the claim that you're making that the people of the Sudan in the Green Sahara period and a bit after the Green Sahara period, around when you get 5,500 BCE on down, when you get around to that time, can you bring me one study that has been able to recover any genetic material from remains found that will show that those people have a propensity of Eurasian genetic affinity? Can you bring me
Yes.
Okay, bring me the study now. Wait, wait. Wait. Listen. I don't want a narrative. I don't want more talk because I keep hearing that these Nubians
Adding to what you're asking for.
Excuse me, no.
Okay, so can I read? You want the answer or no?
Yeah. Tell me no. Put the study in the chat first, and then I'll look it over.
Okay, I'll have Ivory put it in the chat for me. Ivory.
I can't find it. I googled it and I can't find it.
Okay, I'll help you get that one. I gave you the title, so I'm helping you with this one. I have the actual link to the Nature article here. The other one's from the University of Rome website, so I have to go there. But here, for the sake of time, here's the other paper. Ivory, put it in the chat for me.
Put them in the chat, everyone. Y'all can look at the chat.
So you asked me to give you evidence of a sample from Sudan, right?
Clear what I asked you. Now,
Okay.
see,
So,
don't-
all right. So, all right. So, for
No,
so,
no, wait. No, let me make it clear what I asked
all
you.
right. So,
brother.
I'm gonna
Don't
give
do
it to
that.
you.
You got a lot to the sandwich.
No, he
What
asked around.
I said
It's in the
was-
chat. It's in the chat.
Okay. Yeah. Let me look at that. Hold up. Wait
All
a
right.
minute.
So let me read the title for everybody can hear this. 4,000-year-old hair from Middle Nile highlights unusual ancient DNA degradation pattern and a potential source of early Eastern Africa pastoralists. That's the title. Okay. It says
How did
here.
that say Eurasian though? How did that say Eurasian?
Well, you want to read it?
You did not give me what I asked for.
Well, actually, if we read, maybe if you stop getting excited and we actually go over the contents of the paper, it will tell you exactly what you're asking for, because the sample that was found here in Kadruka had 30 to 40% Eurasian ancestry 4,000 years ago. And I cited this earlier, actually. I invoked this earlier. Maybe you didn't hear me. This is the paper that I was referencing. Do you see where it says our foundings are consistent with this? Go ahead, talk. Go ahead, talk. No.
Listen, man,
I want you to talk.
This
This
study is not giving me what I'm at. Hold on,
Yes, it does. It does,
Okay,
but you're not allowing no one to read it or go into what the study says.
I'm gonna shut the fuck up and you can read. I'm gonna shut up and read and you can read.
No, I want you to complete your thought. Okay, go ahead, complete your thought.
The study. I don't want to be presumptuous. No, I don't want to be presumptuous.
Oh, well, so you don't know what the hell the study says, but you're sitting over here talking. This is what we call talking out your ass.
Based on the title.
Well, listen, there's the body of work. You keep going off the title because you get
But
excited.
I just said, listen. I just said I'm gonna be humble enough to take it back and said that. What was that? Come on, dude.
CEO, mute your mic.
What are you doing? Come on, you little whatever you are. What's that in your PTR?
That's not me doing that. I don't know who doing that. I'm not even looking at the phone. I'm on my computer.
No, hold up. Kick him out. Thank you, Dad.
Okay, yeah, we good. Hey,
All right,
no, read the study first.
So I want you to follow me though. I want you to follow me, please. Can you do that?
Go right ahead. Follow me.
All right. Now I want you to go to the segment that says genetic affinity to early Eastern African pastoralists. Do you see that segment? It's under the results section. Click the results tab and go to that section, please. Have you gotten to that section?
See it.
You don't see it.
No, I see a map. They have a map up there.
Do you see where it says genetic affinity to early Eastern African pastoralists?
Okay, I see where it says results. Then there's a long paragraph there.
Keep going.
And the next paragraph says a recent study exploring the diet of individuals at Kadruka.
Keep going.
Early proliferation. I think I've read this study. Early proliferation, ancient DNA authentication and sequencing strategy.
Keep going.
Wait, hold up. I'm sorry. There's the map. Sample details to maximize possibility. Blah blah blah. We found the average.
I want you to go to the section where it says the PCA shows Sudan Kadruka 1. 4,000 BP, located close to previously published early pastoralists in Eastern Africa, such as the Kenya early pastoral Neolithic, 3,800 to 4,000 BP, and Kenya pastoral Neolithic, 1,500 to 3,000 BP. Kenya early pastoral Neolithic is a group of two pastoralist individuals dated.
I see it. The PCA shows Sudan Kadruka 1, 4,000 BP, located close to previously published early pastoralists in early Eastern Africa, such as the Kenya early pastoral N, 3,800 to 4,000 cal BP, and Kenya pastoral Neolithic, 1,500 to 3,000 cal BP. Kenya early pastoral N is a group of two pastoralist individuals dated to the early stages of the Eastern African pastoral Neolithic, both of whom are genetically derived from admixture between two early northeastern African-related ancestries
from Sudan in Africa, Levant. Thank you.
Levant.
Okay, so go. Hold on, stop. That's the admixture. Hold on. You asked me for the admixture. There it is. It gets worse. So go to the next paragraph.
Where in the next paragraph?
Where it says despite the sparsity.
Despite the sparsity of the data, the PCA analysis conducted here clearly suggests a very close genetic relationship between Sudan, Kadruka, BP 4000, and ancient Eastern African pastoralist populations to corroborate this finding. Okay, what do you? I don't understand your point. What's the point you're trying to make?
I want you to keep reading. I want you to keep reading. Hold on. It's more to it. That's part of it. But keep reading it. To corroborate this finding, we also computed allele sharing rates with ancient populations from the Levant in Africa and present-day African population at genomic sites where Sudan Kadruka 4000 BP differs from the chimpanzee reference genome via outgroup F3. Figure 4a shows that Sudan Kadruka 4000 BP shares the highest genetic affinity with ancient Levantine groups, ancient northern and eastern Africans, and modern Africans from northern Sahara and the Horn of Africa. Do you see that? Do you see that? That's what you asked for. You got it.
Let me run this. No. Let me run this by my machine. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna run this by my machine. I hear what you're saying. Wait a minute. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. The brother read it. I read it. Now I'm gonna go to an independent source who doesn't have a horse in the race and see what
he's gonna put it in AI and hope it says something different. Go.
AI. Your machine is AI.
What's wrong with that? Yeah. What's wrong with that? When I read studies, hold on, check it out. When I read studies, let me tell you what I do. When I read studies and I'm reading books, you know what I do? I upload whole sections of it because I train my AI to only use. I tell my AI, only use peer-reviewed, reputable, collegiate sources whenever it's dealing with me. Nothing else, okay? And when I'm reading studies, I want you to understand something. I'll be quick. When I'm reading studies, I upload whole sections of the study. After I read it, I upload whole sections of it into the AI, and I have a whole conversation with the AI, and I specifically tell it to bring other relevant peer review sources.
Do you want some more? Let's get you. Let's yeah. Let's go to. All right, cool. I was laughing because I'm up to date with all of this. So anyway, this is why I'm able to cite this. Now, hold on. This is why I'm able to cite it because this is what I do. So now let's go to the discussion. And we'll go to the discussion, and I want you to go to the third paragraph.
Wait. I need to run it by my AI. And then we can
all right. While you're doing that, I'll read from the fourth paragraph. Sorry, it's the fourth paragraph. It says the high affinity of the Karma period individual from Kadruka 1 with Neolithic pastoral groups far to the south and genetic indistinguishability of their sequence DNA would be consistent with the sample representing a possible genetic source population for earliest Eastern African pastoralists who settled in the Rift Valley. This, in turn, would point to a high degree of mobility of pastoralists between the Middle Nile Valley and present-day Kenya. And this is what I was explaining to the Somali brother here, why they got Eurasian DNA. Potentially before or around the pastoral Neolithic. It would imply that the southward dispersal of pastoralists from the Middle Nile Valley did not involve genetic exchange with pre-existing human groups along the migration route, particularly local foragers, and may therefore have been relatively rapid. Indeed, archaeological research suggests that dispersals were likely driven in part by increasing population pressure and regional aridification. Also, another point I made, with a marked period of aridity in Upper Nubia preceding the first appearance of pastoral groups in Turkana Basin of Eastern Africa at 5000 BP. All these points have already made in this conversation, right? The desiccation, the fact that people from Egypt were migrating southwards, and this is why we see an uptick of Eurasian DNA in people all the way in Tanzania. I literally said this. These early Africans. You say what now?
The reading is plain. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, the reading is it is very plain.
I don't understand why we gotta go to AI to get it to explain what the reading is already saying.
Yeah,
it's plain.
Having a high affinity with
They're just trying to reach for something, and AI hope that AI pulls something out that will say something different.
Right.
That's all we're doing at this point. Well, not us, but you're doing.
Right. I skipped over this too, Brother Sean. It says here, the very low coverage data resulting from this unique sample posed a challenge for downstream population genetic analysis Nevertheless, we see from the F3 statistic that this individual from a rural agro-pastoral population linked with the Karma culture Upper Nubia shares close genetic affinity with Levantine groups. End quote and end of the fucking discussion. That's what you asked for. VM, nigga. Stop playing with me.
Isn't that plain reading? That's plain, right, man? It's got right to the point. I don't know what else. It's plain reading. I don't know what else we're looking for here. We want to dump this study into an AI, and then once it spit it out, we're going to start questioning AI, and AI will give us what it is we're starting to veer our argument toward. The study is plain and simple. I'm sorry, plain reading.
Yeah, we done shows about papers like this. We done shows about Tanzania, a couple of them. Avery, remember them shows we did? You remember them shows we did? And all of these shows are showing that there's a north to south migration, completely opposite of what Obenga, what Diop, what Dr. Bean, and even he invoked Christopher Aaron. Completely opposite to what they're saying. They're saying it's coming south north. No, it's going north south. That's what the evidence is showing.
No genetic evidence to the contrary. Here we are.
Oh, but you know what it is, though, Top? There's cranial understanding. There's cranial. Yeah, okay.
The link to bones. Oh, the link to bones.
Right. Operation. What's that game? Operation when you pull the bones out of the damn machine before it busts.
Right. Man, look, man, we up to date on the genetics, bro. You're going to have to get us on something else. You ain't going to get us on dealing with genomes. You understand? We know the arguments. We know all that. We debate. I debate. And this is what we bring forth to the table. The genetic understanding in the papers. And we want to talk Egypt. Let's talk Egypt. And we're talking Egypt. You brought up the agro-pastoral package. Where did the agro-pastoral package come from? Avery, I got a question for you. Are you there, Avery? Did ancient Egyptians have caprines, which are goats and sheep? You said what?
Can you hear me?
I can barely hear you.
Oh, hold on. Let me switch over.
All right, let me ask Sean. Sean, did ancient Egyptians have caprines, which are sheep and goats?
That's as far as I know.
Okay. What's the origin point for sheep and goats?
Can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you.
Eurasia.
Okay.
Oh.
And that's an animal domesticate, right?
And that's called what? Pastoralism, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the earliest pastoralists would have been people who descended from the pre-pottery Neolithic cultures of
Neolithic cultures.
And they would have, through demic diffusion, pastoralism was spread. This is why, like in North Africa, you see the KEB population in Morocco have, early European farmer genetics, because you had those groups from Levant migrate into North Africa 5,000 years ago. That's the earliest evidence of light skin entering North Africa 5,000 years ago, the KEB population. They carry haploid T and G, and like I said, they had early European farmer ancestry. And 5,000 years ago actually fits the 4,000-year-old Sudan sample that the shooter just read. So all this happened around that time. These pastoralists coming into North Africa, bringing Levantine DNA, like even the Takakori, two females who were pastoralists or were from a pastoralist culture, they even had like 7% Levantine DNA. So yeah.
And some of the cattle were Boss Taurus, right?
Yeah, it would seem like when we look at the genetics of cattle in Africa and African populations that have pastoralism, their cattle does seem to descend from Near Eastern cattle. And the same is true, I think, for Indian cattle as well. The pastoralists in India, like it seems like their cattle is also, the DNA of their cattle seems to also come from the Near East.
So like the brother had previously said, we actually debate this stuff, right? And so this typically comes down to the concept of the Afrocentric out of Africa model, right? Which we're talking about, like, again, people like Obenga, people like
Yeah.
Shake out the diablo. They back it with them, right? And so this model believes that all high civilization, language, culture, and technology diffused from Africa to the rest of the world, and genetics, etc. And what we're finding out is that's not necessarily the case, fam. That's not necessarily the case. And if anything, when it comes to what we define as high civilization, that actually got introduced back into Africa via the back to Africa migration.
Yep.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep. And somebody who said he began his research in 1946 should be discarded. 1 year removed from the Second World War. Why would we listen to him? That's crude. We don't. Why? Okay, that would be like Egyptologists saying we're going to listen to Gerald Massey. Where can we find that at? We're gonna regard Gerald Massey. We're not gonna we're gonna cite his works. We're gonna pretend like that this guy is valid. He didn't get everything wrong. Let's use what he did right. No, he got a lot of the stuff he did wrong because he used crude methods. One of the crude methods is race. Race is not a good fucking indicator, of ancestry. Race is arbitrary. So when you have a whole model built on race, it's going to wither around the edges. They literally just looking at paintings and saying, "Oh, these are black people." Now we got even a better understanding of that. The darker people on a lot of those glyphs, why are they darker than the women, the Egyptian women? Why? Why are they darker? Why are the people that are in administrative roles depicted to be lighter than the people working outside? Why? Why are they? It's very simple why. It's very simple why. But when we approach Afrocentrics, they can't understand the why, or they don't choose to. They're blind to it. They act like they don't see these damn paintings of Egyptians being depicted lighter versus being darker. It would seem, just as what the archaeological consensus is, that they were depicting people working outside with tans, and people that were inside lighter. Right?
And if you want to take it a different step, like you can, like, so they're gonna talk about, no, we got these African pharaohs that we can see, we got all, you know what I'm saying? We got all these fam. Straight up, they be black as you wanted to, fam. You gotta check this. We're talking about lineage and genetics, right? So if they're black as midnight, but they got a Eurasian haplogroup, what does that tell you?
Exactly. Same thing.
That's not enough for these brothers, Eurasian.
They built
They
built their whole argument on skin color and phenotype. They built their whole argument because that's literally the fulcrum of this whole thing. Oh, look, they're Negro people. Yep.
That's this is the one thing I will concede. Shake Anthony up and all them, they got this one thing right, fam. One thing. At one point in time, the whole world was dark.
Yeah.
One fact. Not African.
Just dark. Facts.
That's the only thing they got right. If you want to show me what else they got right, I'm all ears. Right? If you want to show me what other aspects of their belief system and whatever they put forth in terms of what can be examined, that modern scholarship actually agrees with, I'm all ears. But like again, like nobody agrees that all of Africa was one language structure, one cultural structure, none of that type of stuff. It wasn't back then, and it damn sure ain't now. What's up, guys?
It's a huge continent. Imagine a huge continent all sharing everything in common. That is crazy. There's no continent on the planet that does that.
Bro, hold on. They already know. They'll say it themselves. The Afrocentrics, they'll say it themselves that Africa is the most diverse place on earth. They'll say it. They know it, and historically they know that. But then turn around and just try to squeeze everybody into one mold.
Yeah, that's what Afrocentrism does. That's the poison. And then you got people that follow these people to the T. They follow these people to the T, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I'm trying to ask AI a loaded question to make sure to make it through the study. Say it says what he wants to say.
He won, yeah.
He's gonna ask AI, does this prove that the Green Saharan diffusion was racist? Ain't no one said that shit.
I read from D'Antanasio, and she is one of the leading geneticists dealing with the Green Sahara. And I read to him what she actually said on why North Africa has such a great affinity to Southern Europe and Near East, in the Near East. And it's right after that African human phase. When the desiccation of the Sahara dries up, we see even a greater affinity during that period. I literally read that to him.
He didn't put it through his machine yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right, he got to put it through his machine. AI belongs to him.
That's the cover. How do you, yo? I'm not even gonna say it because
Where's my green bean, nigga? Excuse my
I'm
language.
trying to keep it. Hold on, can you hear me, dude? Can you hear me?
Now we
You
can.
want me to be out? Okay,
I was trying to keep it neutral, so I wasn't gonna mod.
Right. I get it.
Hey, why we don't treat Wallace Budge? Why we don't treat Wallace Budge like we treat Dion? Give him all type of passes. Why don't we follow Wallace Budge?
Because he's not black.
No, he's not black. Okay, but he's one of the first ones to do it, right?
Meanwhile, though, all your black Afrocentrics live off
Wallace Budge.
They're living off that chocolate milk.
Oh shit.
They're living off that chocolate milk.
Oh yeah, they definitely are. They definitely drinking from that fountain right there, heavy.
The chocolate milk pregnant. Which one? Nestle Quick? Or what's the other one?
You know, I grew up on Nestle, so I'm gonna say Nestle, man. Oh man, but no, to address the whole skin color thing, they're not even being honest about that because we got, I think it's Snefru. I put it in the back. Snefru's depicted lighter than his Nubian wife. Now the Nubians are clearly, depicted as having very, very dark skin and even sometimes robust features, right? Why we don't see that with the Egypt? Why they don't depict themselves? Not to say they don't have those features, but if y'all going off of features and lookership, why do y'all ignore that shit? Why? All the people in the administrative roles, why do y'all ignore it? If everything's about skin color.
No, it's not. Everything is not about skin color. I disagree with that. That's probably like, to me, one of the lesser arguments, although I would say as you move further from the Delta, more to Upper Egypt, closer to Inner Africa, starting with the Aswan, going deeper, obviously the people get darker as you move further down, but that's another conversation. The study, first off, the genetic material was highly damaged, and it was one of an unconventional means because they were using hair. Now, it was very crafty, and quite frankly, I thought it was very good how the scientists were able to gather a genome from hair. But it was, and they admitted that it was highly damaged. And they did another thing. The study was done on one individual. Mm-hmm. Okay, we have to we can't see. Here's the problem, my good brother. Okay, you brought me one individual. Okay, mm-hmm. We have I'm not. Here's the thing. I am not questioning necessarily the findings. Okay, what I'm questioning is the interpretation of the data. That's what I'm questioning, because again, just let me get it out, and then you can respond to it. I took the time out to actually go and see what the study is saying, what it is saying. I gave you that respect. Just give me 1 second, and I'll be done. Okay? Because I'm just gonna do bullet point, and you can respond to it. Number one, the degradation of the DNA, which can lead to problems, but they were able to get one genome. But if they lead to problems, then the fact that it's one individual. Okay, just one individual, all right? And one individual can't represent an entire people, okay, of diversity within a known region. And then number three, the study even itself said that the Eurasian component made up about 40-some% of the
I said that.
Okay, all right, okay. But so the point I'm making, is that I think, hold up. Brother, I don't understand what you're laughing.
I'm laughing because you don't listen. This is the third time I told you I said something.
Brother, whether I'm listening or not, man, just let me finish the point.
You
can tell me where I'm wrong. This is what you don't understand, brother. If I'm saying something incorrect, I am willing to take correction. If I am misinterpreted, I don't have no problem with that. But just let me finish the point. You understand what you're dealing with. I listen. I'm not here trying to be right. I'm trying to get to the point. The point I'm making is that I think that the study is a fascinating study. Okay, it's a fascinating study dealing with pastoralism. The point that I'm making is that it is highly limited. That like you have to be objective in that, man. Like, yeah, unless you're gonna tell me that it's not. Like that's a point that I'm making. That I agree. I'm willing to accept the findings, but I would say that the study itself is limited, and it cannot be used to make broad generalizations.
You have that stronger than
All right,
that.
well,
What
check.
findings do you have that stronger?
It's not. He presented the study. I'm going over his study. I'm trying to see if he agree with me or not.
Okay, but
I'm trying to see if he agree with me or not. Before we proceed further, wait, brother.
It's not my study. It's Wang et al. Study, by the way.
Okay. Well, you presented it. I'm trying to see if the brother's gonna be honest with me. Would you agree, based on the points that I laid out, that it is one individual that is based on hair analysis, okay, to ascertain the genome,
Right.
that the authors admitted themselves that the DNA was damaged, okay, and that again the percentage was lower for Eurasians. Although it was closer to 50, it was lower. Would you agree, based on those? I'm just trying to be straight up. See if you're gonna be honest. Would you agree, based on those criteria that I laid out from within the study? Would you agree that study cannot be used to make generalizations and swat as broad sweeping claims?
Got you. Yeah. In isolation, this study cannot be used, but that's why they use other studies in conjunction with it. When it brought up the two middle pastoral, Afro-pastoral samples that we have in reference to this one. There's 5 individuals in this study.
Study, isn't it?
Yes, I read it to him. I also read to you that 47.3% of the DNA was retrieved from the hair. I literally read that to you, but you don't listen. Also, what do you mean you didn't find it? I read that to you. I even led you to the segment, and I let you. No, it mentions the others.
They reference. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
Okay, I guided you to the results of the PCA chart, and that PCA chart, you see all those samples there? And then after, I'm trying to explain to you. You're not understanding what I'm saying. So let me explain to you again.
I do know what a PCA is.
Okay.
It's still one person.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's comparing it to other. It's comparing it to other pastoralists of this time frame. So we're seeing the same similar admixture between the Levant and East African pastoralists. That was the point. And I guided you to the results section and read it with you. So putting all these things together, you can make the argument for a Middle Nile Valley transportation of peoples coming down southwards. This is not the only paper that says this. Sirach et al. Says the same exact thing. The paper going over the Tanzania farmers says the same exact thing. There are people coming from the north and down. We have several samples spread out through these regions showing Levantine dispersals. There was even a paper with South Africans having Levantine-like DNA because of East African pastoralists migrating south and mixing with the Khoisan.
You told me earlier that sub-Saharan Africans were not in North Africa. The Horn of Africa is in sub-Saharan Africa. No, he said that. He said it. Now he's bringing these studies trying to tell me about people migrating from the Horn of Africa into the Sudan. That's his point. He's trying to say that Eurasian people mixed with the Horn of Africa, then those people migrated down into the Sudan, and this is how you get admixture, and then you might get a loop back around in another case, where they loop back around and go back into the Horn of Africa. If he's incorrect, if I'm misstating his claim, then he need to bring it, then he need to tell me I'm incorrect. Earlier, he told me that sub-Saharan Africans they're not up in North Africa. The desert was a barrier. Now he's bringing me the Horn of Africa, which is in sub-Saharan Africa. He's double speaking me, man.
Different genetic.
All right, so can I explain myself? I said this earlier. The Eurasian components, the people that have the Eurasian ancestry, are in North Africa at the onset. You were here when I was talking to the Somali person. He asked, we're the real Egyptians. I was like, okay, let me give you a caveat. I know you were on the phone when I said this. The people with Eurasian ancestry will be the ancient Egyptians or people related to them. These people migrate southward and then mix with the people of Sudan. Then those people migrate southward, mix with the people of the Horn of Africa, mix with the people of Kenya, mix with the people of Tanzania. then those people migrate even further south and then mix with the Khoisan. That's not saying the people in North Africa are sub-Saharan. It's saying the people that were in North Africa migrated south and mixed with the locals as they migrated.
Facts.
From the beginning of this call, I've been saying it. To this point, I've been saying it. And the papers have been articulating those points.
Now, you brought me one paper that I was able to read. It was about one individual. You claimed that they compared that one sample on the PCA chart. Okay, I have to look at that. Okay, what I'm saying though is your point. When I asked a question about an individual from the Sudan, you brought me that paper as a refutation. That paper has limitations. That's the point I'm making. You brought it as a refutation. Say, okay, well, I'll give you what you're asking for. I'm like, okay, fine. If it says what you said and it shows what you shows, I go where the evidence goes. But when I go and dig into the paper, into the fine print of the paper,
You mean when AI done for you?
it has limitations. Brother, you don't know, brother. I'm an avid reader, sir. Okay? There's nothing wrong in a conversation like this. Sir, there's nothing wrong in a conversation like this with feeding the information into an AI and getting a quick update before you read
There's
the thing.
nothing wrong with it, but when
What's your point?
Especially when I read to you the same shit. Well, I read the same thing to you. But
Yeah, sure. Let me ask this guy a question. If there ain't no problem with it, then what the hell are you talking about then, right?
all right, but if you relax, just relax for a second.
I'm gonna
The
relax.
problem is that there's nothing wrong with dropping it. There's nothing wrong with dropping it in there. When whatever it spits out, that you're only looking for debunking. When you drop the study into AI, you're not dropping it in to learn. You're dropping it in to learn and find
I'll
points.
tell you exactly what you're not asking. I'll tell you exactly what you're not asking. You're not gonna pull that bullshit. No.
Did you not ask me to speak?
Look, hey, time.
Did you not ask me to speak?
Why are you gonna be though? To make a point. That's a lie, man. That's unfair. That's a
Did you
lie.
not ask me to speak? Let me finish, and then you can say what you have to say.
what happened?
I ain't gonna ask it to be biased, man. That's a lie, bro. Don't.
You are being biased because when you came back with you admitted to certain things, but you were still looking for something to push back.
Hold on.
That's what you
Hey,
did.
hold on.
Respectfully, brother, you keep asking people to let you finish and talk, etc.
And you not allow nobody to speak.
I'm on Clubhouse. I'm on Clubhouse in the Yap Gang Clubhouse, and we're discussing ancient Egypt as it relates to Diop and everything.
You will let other people speak. Discuss it.
And I didn't lie. I'm giving you my position. I never said you lied about anything. I'm not going to talk ill about you like that.
Right. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me when the Black Hebrew Israelites were arguing with Polite and what was that? What was it called? What was it? Kemet versus Kemet on trial. And they was like, y'all don't have any biblical bodies. And then the retort from the Black Hebrew Israelites was, well, all y'all got is a fingertip for a pharaoh that lived in the Middle Kingdom. It's like, well, at least we got a fingertip. That's basically the same vein that we're in right now. At least we got something. You don't have anything.
Wait a minute. When I put that study in AI, this is the exact question. I said, can you tell me what the study is saying, what it's not saying, and what are the limitations? How the fuck is that me looking to?
All right, so we passed that. The point is we have it.
No.
We have it. Out of 5 samples.
You see, you gave AI. This is what I'm talking about. It's nothing wrong with dropping it in, but you're looking for. You said, what are the limitations? You're looking for.
You haven't even read the thing yourself yet, fam. It's that simple.
Exactly.
That's what he's saying.
And the
What's
reading
wrong
is
with
plain.
asking? What is the limitations? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
Boy, you
asked it
you
three
hot
different
behind it.
questions. You asked it 3 different questions. The first question was what? I'm gonna let you walk through.
AI. Hold on. I asked the AI 3 objective questions. What is the
Right.
study saying? What is it not
That
saying?
should be your
And
first-
what are
that
the
should be-
limitations?
wait.
Those are objective questions. What are you talking about?
Are you gonna allow me to speak, bro? When you asked AI, what is the study about? That should have been it until you gave it 3 questions at the same time, and I can guarantee you that it was extremely long and that you was looking for bullet points to push back. You seen what it said, what it was talking about. And then your second question, it even gave you all of the data points that you agreed on. Then you asked its limitations, and the limitations were the bullet points that you only focused on. That you wanted to come back and give us the limitations of this study and what it was pointing at. You didn't even read the study, and the study is plain reading. It's plain reading. You're always going to have degradation. Degradation is going to, wait, let me finish. You're always going to have degradation when it comes to genetics, but it's not that extreme. I can tell you right now, the degradation of genetics is far surpassing in its positives than cranial studies for ancestry.
But here's where we find ourselves, man, is we've both been waiting on the same answer for one question for over 30 minutes now.
Yeah.
Resurfacing again and again and again. What is your genetic evidence to the contrary?
Problem. I'll present that in 2 seconds. Hey, I just want to say one quick thing. Did I not come on here after feeding into the AI? Be honest now, brother. Like you said, I haven't even read it yet, but I fed it to the AI. Be honest, good brother. Did I not come on here and one of the first things I said was, I accept the findings of the study. So I don't know what
so we shouldn't go any further, right?
What
Because
is he talking about? I don't get what he's talking about.
so we shouldn't have to go any further. You asked for the ad and make sure we showed it. The paper goes on to say, while much archaeogenetic research in Africa has focused on the Neolithic populations of Eastern Africa, their source population have, from a genetic standpoint, remained elusive, highlighting the need for additional ancient DNA from ancient Northeastern African populations. The ancient DNA recovered from ancient human hair in this study provides important new genetic data relevant to the detailed reconstruction of early pastoral dispersals from northeastern to eastern Africa. Our findings also point to the value of preserved ancient hair as a source of ancient DNA, particularly in regions where more typical ancient DNA archives are unavailable or poorly preserved, with exciting implications for the future of ancient DNA research. It's literally what the paper says. So I'm gonna go off of Wayne et al. And not random people on whatever, or Diop or Obenga. I'm gonna go off of the people that specialize in ancestry, which is genomes.
Hey, what's up,
First off, let's clear something up. Dr. Diop was an Egyptologist / anthropologist / scientist, and Obenga, he's a linguist. He's not even a geneticist. So I don't even know why you made that argument. It doesn't make any sense.
None of them are geneticists. That's my point.
His field is linguistics, though. That's a red herring. I'm going to go over at all, not Obenga. Obenga is a member of the French Egyptological Society, sir. He's not a play.
Obenga is a play because his conclusions are false.
You can't undermine him, sir.
I can't undermine him. Just like, hold on, I can undermine Clyde Winters too. Hold on, I'm gonna give you a similitude. Clyde Winter gets undermined all the time because he's fringe. Just because you're in a professional field does not mean that you can just say any damn thing and everybody be cool with it.
Obenga is not fringe, sir. He's not fringe at all. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, as far as I'm concerned, out of all
as far as you concerned,
and I love them all. I have respect for them all, but out of all of them, Obenga's the best. Like, in my opinion, he is the best.
Do you have genetic evidence to the contrary of what we just been talking about?
Second, I'll pull it right now.
You said you had it a while ago.
Egypt at its origins, volume 6. Give me 1 second. I'm going in it right now to pull it out.
Wait, what book is this? This is Obenga?
Its origins, volume 6. Have you ever heard that conference? Oh, you don't even know. What am I dealing with? These people don't even know about the conference on Egypt and its origin that deals solely with the origins of ancient Egypt, but yet they're talking about.
You talking about UNESCO?
All right.
You going to the 70s?
UNESCO, no, sir.
That proves the contrary.
Oh my God, they don't even know about the conferences, these major Egyptological conferences.
Calm down. You've been getting beat up this whole time. Stop it.
Oh my God.
You've been getting beat up this whole time. Stop it.
About this stuff, I don't know.
This is idiocy at this point. It's like, bro, you've been getting your ass whooped this whole time. Calm your ass down.
Just you said, hold on, right? You literally said that you have cranial and genetic evidence in your case. bringing it out. You might just kind of medicine you need to bring to come off your emotional crisis and just bring out the information. Hey, what's up, Zoltan? I see you're on the stage. What's up, bro?
Hey, what's going on, Grease Hair? Long time. See, you got the,
It has been.
yeah, you got that, Sudan, paper, right? That, Kerman paper?
Yeah, because that's what we're discussing right now. But that's actually not the point or contention of the entire discussion. You know what? I think we're going to do a room recap.
You want to tell you want to tell him what your man just said about Obanga? He said Obanga the best one.
Yeah, so let's do a quick recap and we'll let y'all have it because we got a lot of new people on stage and in the audience. So this all got started earlier because when I was originally in the room, we were talking about philosophy and Christianity. And then we got into hoteps and whether or not it's rude or disrespectful to, call African Americans hoteps when they claim to be ancient Egyptians and things of that nature. Don did not really like me and Shub using the term hotep. And we said that it's a perfect term to use to describe people who like to claim other people's culture, specifically Egyptian culture. And that spiraled into a debate of whether or not, what is the race of the Egyptians, essentially, and what is their culture, what is their DNA, what is their language, et cetera, et cetera. And I do wonder, going back to the original topic of the room, like, is hotep truly disrespectful or what? Because from what we heard tonight in this room, ancient Egyptians seem to be genetically Eurasian and have really nothing to do with
West Central Africans. Here's the issue: these people will not admit to their real ancestry. That's the crazy part, which is West Central Africa and Western Europe, and a little bit of Native American. If you ask these people that claim to be ancient Egyptians, these African Americans out of their damn mind, if you ask them, are you related to white Americans? You know what they're going to tell you? Hell no. But they will sit up here and imagine that they're related to Imhotep, or they imagine that they're related to King Tut, or related to Ramesses II. These people that are completely disparate from them, but your white American neighbors, which you do share ancestry with, oh no, I can't see it. No, they not my relatives. But you want to claim a damn Pharaoh, Sneferu, or the Scorpion King from 5,000 to 4,000 years ago. This is modern myth. This is fairy tale. This is Walt Disney. This is what we're dealing with. It's disrespectful. Go ahead.
How is it disrespectful to say hotep or call them hoteps, or isn't that like a greeting when they say hotep to each other?
Yeah, or really what Don was saying was like anybody who uses the term hotep is just as dumb as the hotep.
Oh, okay.
That's
right.
Yeah, even though everything that we provided thus far is backed by sources. I've cited all my sources, read from them, and he didn't even listen to me. And I know he didn't listen to me based on the questions he was posing. I was like, yo, I literally said this.
By the way, do y'all remember Zoltan from back in the day? The Somali brother.
Oh, I was about to say East African. I think so.
Yeah. He changed his name.
So I believe Mahdi Slamaja, or was it?
He's in the room?
Yeah, he's in the room. And also there's a Sudanese brother here.
Okay.
Wait, is that the brother who did his DNA test and he came out as haplogroup J?
I don't know if it's him.
Oh no, that's not him.
No, I'm EV32, bro.
I remember Sultan. He was in the room with Ngozi. Okay, I remember you now.
Ngozi, I remember him. He used to come around a lot. Yeah. Hey, Marty, have you ever done a DNA test?
Sorry, I didn't hear that. What did you say?
Have you ever done a genetics test?
Me, personally, no, I haven't done a genetics test, but I kind of know what's my
It's just like, but just listening to that conversation was a bit funny. If you don't mind me just contributing a little bit.
Oh, please do. Go ahead.
I'm not sure how the Sudan came into it, where I come from, but there's a few sad elements about it that are related to ancient Egypt and lots of other things regarding genomes and so on. One of the things about the Nubian civilization is highly under-researched. That's like an international conspiracy, literally international conspiracy led by quite a lot of organizations, some of whom have implanted governments inside the country of Sudan in order to actually undermine that study officially. There are little bits of studies that have been done do indicate, and I find it fascinating, by the way. I was actually shocked, but not too surprised, that the whole human genome actually originates from Sudan. The whole human genome actually originates from a pocket about 100 kilometers northeast of my hometown, which is Khartoum. And that study was done, I think it was the biggest study of this type, published around 2002 or 2003 by Oxford University. So it was like the biggest study of this type. And it was correlating all human genome. And it actually correlates just to one pocket in the entire planet, which is actually, ironically, 100 kilometers northeast. I personally thought that it would most likely be somewhere in the Ethiopian border with Sudan, but actually it was this pocket. And so allegedly, based on the study, all genome, Polynesian, other African, European, Asiatic, Chinese, what have you, North American, Inuit, all this genome actually pockets correlates to this particular place of origin. So, and obviously there's been lots of movements around and so on. I quickly scanned the paper that was published in the room on top here, pin driver to the room, and it was talking about a particular hair and so on. And when it comes to archaeology, there's lots of things that are questionable, especially with publications. One singular paper, or even a couple of papers, do not constitute science, because there could be lots of issues to do with repeatability. Sometimes there are expert forgeries that are going out there. About even 30% anticipated of all displayed museum pieces actually are expert forgeries. And there are many countries engaged in this expert forgery. And normally about 3 countries have been the most accused of it. And namely, it's Israel, China, and Egypt. Actually, expert forgeries to weaponize history. So the surrounding countries around China have accused China of expert forgeries. Whether it's true or not is another issue. People around Israel have also accused them and actually have identified expert forgeries actually in museums. So these are the people who actually verified these things actually carried out the forgeries themselves, weaponizing the history, so-called, to justify things and so on. Not necessarily saying everything is a forgery, but it has happened. And particularly when it comes to etching of stones and stuff that has been disturbed, so no longer is in situ. So you have artifacts which are claimed to be found elsewhere, found in a particular location, because of either being invented or actually transferred from one location to another. And the Egyptians also have been accused of this by quite a few people, the least of whom are some Egyptian Nubians and other people in the region. They've actually also accused Egypt of expert forgeries. Some of them actually happen to be Egyptians themselves, happen to be of Nubian extraction. And definitely the Egyptians have done their best to undermine them, along with the Israelis too, and a few other Arab countries, to undermine Nubian archaeology. So very little is also studied of even the surface archaeology. It's quite rich actually, the surface archaeology, knowing that, for example, much of the history of Egypt, which is quite rich, but 90% of this was unearthed from below the sands. So people had to go and dig below and unearth and reconstruct that massive and magnificent history that is attributed to ancient Egypt, which it was magnificent. But 90% of this was unearthed below the sands. When it comes to Nubia, what's protruding out of the sands is barely studied. And it's not that because it's not there. It's actually people do not want to study. And when they do, they tend to read, not the archaeology in situ, they tend to read it through foreign eyes. And so it's interpretational rather than actually scientific. And the few sciences that I've done, they tend to get distorted, or people who are actually doing it, engaging in it, actually don't get research or funding rather, or some actually get executed.
Okay. The study that we're talking about, we're dealing with Wang. I believe Wang's of Asian origin and other genetic colleagues. So I don't know how that applies. I don't know why we're appealing to that, but yeah. So when you say archaeology being interpretive, it is always going to be interpretive because we don't live in the time frame when the archaeology was created. Correct? These material culture was not created in our time frame. It was created 4,000, 5,000 years ago. So I don't know how is that even a point? None of us in here are contemporaneous.
I'm actually saying it's read from external eyes, not from the actual archaeology in place. So you're getting people, rather than reading and studying the archaeology institute, they're looking at the references that may be written about the archaeology by the Greeks or the Egyptians, who have their own issues.
Gotcha.
And so this is becomes an interpretation war by people who actually are reading what actually Egyptian archaeology.
We wasn't dealing with archaeology.
That's what I mean by. I'm not talking about even. I know what you're saying. That interpretation, you got data, you could interpret that data. You will have I'm not talking about that kind of interpretation. I'm talking about actually external interpretation and interpretation from a distance. Not even actually doing in-situ studies.
Gotcha.
So local studies there, and then you're actually interpreting that data. Then interpreting it from external source material and projecting it into the region. Got you. I don't know how that's relevant to what we're discussing, but okay. Ivory, I sent you the link to the symposium that he referenced. I sent you the link to the symposium that he referenced, where Obenga and Diop made an ass of themselves. Can you pin that one?
Yeah. Give me a second here. And by the way, the debate, or really the discussion, is between mainly Don, Jashub, and two of the mods, Sean and Tyvon. So y'all can get back to it. I don't want to get too off subject unless there's something you want to say really quick, Zoltan, and then we can, if you don't have anything, then we can get back to subject at hand.
Obenga and Diop were literally arguing at this symposium of this common culture with all African Negro peoples. The same thing we see in Diop's book. They were arguing at the symposium. And this is that famous symposium. They said, oh, they went up there and they whooped ass. No, they made fools of themselves. Greenberg was there. Avery, I know you're very familiar with Greenberg, right? A lot of people were there and arguing against them. And their main central point is to point out that just like Indo-European is, that they treat the ancient Egyptian language like the Indo-European language. Oh, everything comes from that. You know how French, Spanish, all the languages go back to that in Europe. They're trying to say that every language on the African continent goes back to the Egyptian language. They literally tried to argue that. And your man talking about, so Obenga better than all of them. That is a garbage argument. Again, the ancient Egyptian language is Afro-Asiatic. The language that's being spoken in Senegal, the language that's being spoken in Nigeria, the language being spoken by Bantu is all of the Niger-Congo family. It's a completely different family. And then even in Eastern Africa, we got Nilo-Saharan and other languages as well. But they all tied it together, saying all these languages diffused from ancient Egypt. And they literally went to the symposium and argued that. This is indefensible. You guys will not castigate these people and cast down their works. And the only reason y'all don't do it because they black. And since they're black, that means you can't touch them. You can't tell people that they were wrong. They were completely wrong. They were wrong when they tried to generalize the ancient Egyptians as entirely black or Negroid. They were wrong.
Is that symposium on PBS? That's the one they did on PBS?
I don't know if it was on PBS. I don't know. But this is the one they always reference. This is the famous one. When they say, oh, Diop went there and he defeated everybody. So I got the transcript pinned at the top. You guys can read it yourself. You can go to what Obenga said. You can go to what Diop said. And he literally made all of these pseudo arguments. This is in the 70s. This is why on Garfield's channel, when he had Dr. Karakuni, she came on there and basically said what those guys did was invoked the one drop rule on Egypt. They applied the one drop rule to Egypt and say they're all black. And she castigated that. That's a real Egyptologist. That line of thinking. So anyway, you guys can all see that It basically
1974. I think that was on PBS.
yeah. But if you listen to James Small, Sonetta, or Jabari, they always this is like a legend. This is the splitting of the Red Sea for them. This is a monumental event for them. Oh, they went in there and they shut those Europeans down. No, this was garbage. They basically came up there arguing the same things that you can find in their book. Like right here it says, Professor Obenga went on to say that the same approach could legitimately be applied to African languages, in which case ancient Egyptian would play the same role as Sanskrit did in the case of the Indo-European languages. The hypothesis of borrowings in the ancient times could be discounted because of the geographical discontinuity. Obenga was arguing this, man. That's why they were trying to draw these semblances between like the Wolof and Egyptian languages or the Yoruba language. I read earlier that Diop believes that the Yoruba migrated from Egypt after Egypt had Roman and Greek occupation. And his argument for that was, oh, you get the word Orisha from the Latinized word Horus. Then you get people today in 2025 citing Obenga, citing Diop, Ronuko Rashidi, Dr. Ben, James Small, citing these guys. And they have an imprecise criterion. All of this shit is bunk. You can't take this to Yale and Oxford. You'll get laughed at. Go to some real Egyptologists with this bullshit. See what they say to you. They're gonna laugh at your ass. Oh, you think Wolof is similar to the Egyptian language? Are you fucking slow? These are two different African languages. Disparate from each other. They have nothing to do with each other. They developed in their own system. And no one ever takes chronology into the equation. They never look into that into consideration. Do you understand when all these things were developing, West African people were developing independently in the western side of the continent while ancient Egypt was getting their dynastic kingdom set up? How do you confuse the two? We can look at crop cultivation and show you where these West African ancestors were. They were primarily in Mauritania and Mali, and then they migrate southward. We can follow the crops. Why were they migrating southward? Because they were pastoralist and agrarian. So what happens? The desert starts to grow and the savannas begin to shrink. So then they go towards the green. Why? For their pastures and for agricultural purposes, so they can continue to grow the crops. So if you follow the pearl millet, you can see it coming from places like Mali and Mauritania, and then making its way down into Ghana, into Benin, Togo, and Nigeria and Cameroon. That's literally tracing a migration. This is all going on while Dynasty 0, 1, and through 12 are happening. So while that's happening, simultaneously, we see West African people developing their own cultures, their own languages, and creating their own story on the other side of the continent, completely separate from each other. But you get these morons, it's 2025, citing people from the 70s. The 70s, bro, to make these damn arguments. It's crazy, man. Only in the damn black community you see this shit. Only in the black Kemet, whatever you would call it, black Hebrew Israelite community. This is the wild ass shit we see. It goes on to say here, having this laid the foundations of his demonstration, Professor Obenga gave several sets of examples. Firstly, he examined important typological similarities in grammar. The feminine gender formed by the use of the suffix T and the plural of nouns by the suffix W, or we. He next analyzed complete word forms and noted similarities between those of ancient Egyptian and considerable number of African languages. Between the Egyptian and Wolof, the correspondence was total. This series of demonstrations led Professor Obenga to the conclusion that morphological, lexicological, and syntactic similarities amounted to convincing proof of the close relationship between ancient Egyptian and Negro African languages of today. This kind of parallelism was impossible between Semitic Berber and Egyptian. This is your king, bro. This is your. Hey, Avery, can you just explain the amount of issues of trying to compare the Wolof language to ancient Egyptian? Can you please just bring out some examples of why that is? It's just laughable.
Hold on, give me a quick second. Hold on.
All right, I'm gonna keep reading what this lunatic says.
I'm in the middle of something. I'll be able to answer that question in a minute.
All right, so I'll keep reading what he says. It says here that the speaker then dealt with comparisons of ways of expressing to be in verb-noun combination. The common archaic form in the Bantu language was the same in this respect as that of most archaic form of ancient Egyptian. The analysis of negative morphones of the emphatic future and of linking particles led to the same conclusion as the previous examples. Professor Obenga considered, therefore, that it would prove possible to discover a common genetic structure. So basically saying the ancient Egyptian language and the Wolof, these Niger-Congo languages all come from a common genetic structure. They all share a common ancestor. It says, lastly, Professor Obenga spoke of what he considered to be the most interesting aspect of the comparison. He drew parallels between forms taken in different languages by certain words, palm, spirit, tree, place, and also between certain small phonemes. For example, Kim, black in ancient Egyptian, becomes Kame, Kimi, Kim, and Coptic. Ikama and Bantu, with the meaning of charred by exposure to excessive heat. Kami and Aser, means descender, and Rome, man in ancient Egyptian, becomes Lomi. This is fucking stupid. In Bantu, the same phonemes have the same functions in different languages compared. Professor Obenga concluded. Someone's playing music. Someone's playing music. All right, someone's doing it on purpose. Can one of the moderators mute this person? Can someone mute Congressman? Anybody here that's moderating, mute him because he's got loud music. It says the same phonemes have the same functions in different languages compared. Professor Obenga concluded his demonstration with an analysis of a verb to come. In ancient Egyptian, Yahuya, in Coptic, Aye or Aya, in Beni is Ya, and Bantu Ya, in the Congo-Niger region, Wa, in Bahr el Ghazal, Ye. Yeah, go ahead and mute this dude, man. Kick this dude from the stage. The hell? And Sarah E., the Y, a voice of velar spirant, occurs in every case. Professor Obenga inferred from these comparisons that it would be possible in the future to identify a Negro Egyptian language analogous to Indo-European. In this context, in the view of the undeniable common cultural background of all these languages, there was a sound basis for the development of future study. This was the bullshit that Obenga produced at that symposium. And your man Pots and Pans said this is what he hanging his hat on. So 1970s. 1970s, Garth.
Yeah, but that was a political statement when he did Negro Egyptian. That was just a political statement for him to try to get. No, it was. That's what it was. It was a political statement.
You make it shut up.
Try to get the. Can I just listen? It was a political statement for him to try to get the point across to these Egyptologists who, because in the minds of Diop and those guys, and I kind of understand what they're saying. The linguistics is pretty much the last bastion of the racial dynastic theory thing. That's the last bastion of it, because the archaeology forced them to shift. Because now the running thing with the Egyptologists is that it was a fundamentally African culture with reception of outside elements. That's what you hear from these people. And And when you look at the cultural features are indicative of African culture. The linguistics is the last holdout. That's where they try to like still keep the holdout. Even Christopher Eric was ostracized by these people to a degree because he had his whole. I think he's still running with it. The whole Afro Sans. He called it Afro Sans, and he basically said that the language came somewhere from within the Horn of Africa. That's a white dude because I see he like the white people. There's the white guy for you. He listened when if Obinga was at a.
Why are you stuttering?
I believe it was it. I had a stuttering problem as a kid, man. Don't shoot me down for that, okay? I used to stutter as a kid, okay? When Obinga was at a recent conference, I think it was in the early 2000s or something, he basically, because he likes to go to the big conferences where those big Egyptologists are at, not the small fish. And he went there and presented, and they promised him that they would publish his paper, and they didn't. But here's the thing, here's the most telling thing, and Dr. Mario B, he talks about this. He says Obinga went to that conference, and he started making a case through linguistics about it being like I don't want to use the word Negro Egyptian, because but the fact that, here, I want you to listen to me. I'm being serious, I'm not joking.
He was being serious, though. That's why it's funny. He was being dead serious.
Like the term, listen, whether you like the term or not, that's fine. I'm saying he did it for political reasons. The point I'm making is though, he went to this conference. I want you to hear this. He went to this conference and they basically went and got Christopher Eric out the back to come and dismantle him. Literally, they did that. They went and got Eric out the back because Eric was there. They got him out the back to bring him up there because Eric is the linguist among them white folks, and they were one of the top. He's been in it for a long time with the linguistics as it pertains to Egypt, so that kind of gives him a bit of a cachet. And the fact is, they brought him out the back to dismantle Obinga, and he ended up agreeing with Obinga. He ended up agreeing with him. He said what Obinga is saying is right. Now, he didn't abandon his whole Afro Sans because he has this thing. He not going to abandon his thing, except Obinga's thing is territorial with these scholars. But at the end of the day, he agreed with Obinga. What they disagree on, they don't disagree with the people like Eric. What they disagree on is how it happened. You know, the Diop was more into a diffusion model, if you will. They're more to the diffusion thing.
Obinga was too. Obinga was too.
Yeah, right.
They both agree. They both believed in the same thing, which is bullshit, by the way.
Listen, man. Listen, check this out. Let me say something to you. I don't hate our people. I don't hate them. I give them credit because guess what?
I give them credit.
They were fighting on the edge of. No, okay. I'm not calling what they saying with bullshit because guess what? Listen. First off, before you let me grab this right quick. Before you say anything about Obinga,
I'm gonna call it bullshit. Christopher Eric's bullshit too.
Wait, hold on. Before you say
Christopher Eric's bullshit too.
Wait a minute. Before you say something about Obinga, okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. Now, right here in my hand, I've had African philosophy, the Pharaonic period, 2780 through 330 BCE by Dr. Theophile.
Did we lose him?
That's no question until you bring out that genetic group and say you have for that right now.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Gordine at all. I got that right now. Gordine at all. Gordine, that's the question I was trying to ask the brother. How did he explain that? Gordine, that's the question I was trying to get to earlier, but we covered so much. Gordine et al. 2017, I believe it was, and I put in the chat. I'll copy and paste it in the chat. How do you explain that when when they did the S&Ps for the King Tut family, the royal family of King Tut, when they did that, they showed an affinity with Near East.
Oh, I know the paper you're talking about. Yeah. That's a terrible paper.
The brother tried to tell me, hold on. What the brother tried to tell me was, well done. They use STRs. I don't give a
That's
damn.
the problem.
I don't care.
That's the issue. It's a low. There's not enough STRs. I know you don't care. I know you don't care. I know you don't. I know you don't care because the STRs don't tell you enough because you don't have enough STRs. That's the problem. It's a low profile. That hair sample that we got in Sudan, we had more from that hair sample than we will ever get from those samples from King Tut or Ramesses III.
No, but you're willing to accept that it's an affinity when you're Asian, though. That's the point I'm making. You're very biased.
I didn't say anything. It's a reason why. It's a reason why all we got is the haplogroups from those. We don't have a genome-wide analysis from those samples. What we do know from majority of the haplogroups of King Tut. Oh, stop. King Tut, Queen Tai, and all those people. Their haplogroups are Eurasian, so they're of Eurasian origin. That right there is emphatic. Ain't no listen. That's emphatic. That is emphatic, bro. When you start dancing.
Wait. I got it right here. Steinbein, Routledge. I got it right here.
He went to DNA Tribes, bro. That is a terrible source.
First off, hold up.
That's a fringe source.
Steinbein is not fringe.
Yes, that is a fringe paper that you're citing. Everybody in this community knows about that paper, and it's fringe. It's fucking fringe. All right, where is it published? Watch this. Where is it published at?
Bourdain is fringe. Right here. I have the paper right here.
Where is it published?
If you give me 1 second.
It's not published in Nature. It's not published in Science.
Let me see.
This is gonna be the telltale. This is gonna be the tell-all right here.
Let me see. Hold on. It's in French. I have to get a translation on it. It's in French. It's in French. It's at the bottom. It's in French.
Ladies and gentlemen, I gave him the University of Rome. I gave him Nature publication, and this dude is giving me shit from DNA Tribes. Stop talking to me.
1 second. Let me see.
Now you know what? I'm good, bro. Stop talking.
He giving you published from a blog. It's published in a blog.
No. I don't know what these dudes are talking about. What they're trying to do is undermine the information being brought. That's what he's trying to do.
No, I'm not. I know that. I challenge it. This has already been fucking debunked, but you can go ahead. I already invoked Nature in the University of fucking Rome. And then you come with DNA Tribes shit. You came with DNA Tribes.
You're biased. That's all it is.
Yeah, and you believe in Obanga, and you believe in Obanga and Diop.
It's trying to tell me right here. It's translating.
Yeah, all right, man. I'll get the fuck out of here, nigga. I'm not holding up nothing, man.
It translated it. Let me give it to you. Quiet, sir.
Ain't no quiet nothing, bro.
Here it is.
You trash.
Can I read and give you what you asked for?
No, I don't want that. I don't want it. I don't accept it. I reject that bullshit ass paper. I'm done.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm about my fitty by all. Look here, I be on the paper chase. I'm all about my cheddar. I ain't touching the mic if it ain't 5Gs or better. I plan to never fall short. Again, I won't gain. Woody, I'ma tell you, no pain, no gain. I hustle hard. For what I want, that's how I get it. I struggle hard, and if it's out there, I'm gon' get it. If you see CMR, a $sign on the CD, somewhere on there you'll see featuring the BG. Me and my nigga V, like Suge and Pop, we getting our shine on all the way to the top. Look, ain't no stopping us, boy, don't try. When you hear once, it ain't no secret you going by. You could lie about this, stunt about that. You can't dodge these 50 shots, I'm about the red tat-tat. Ain't nothing changed, still a bust a wig splitter. Straight hustle for my cheese, I'm a money go get about my paper, my cheese. So before my eyes close, I want my greens to add up to 6 zeros. Get your betty nigga, somebody clear, hate split 'em. Get your betty nigga, somebody clear, hate kill 'em. I'm about my paper, my cheese. So before my eyes close, I want my greens to add up to 6 zeros. Get your betty nigga, somebody clear, hate split 'em. Get your betty nigga, somebody clear, he kill 'em. It's all about Benjamin, that's all I wanna have. Dust off in my house with a hoe taking a bubble bath. Sparkling marble, cupping all my room floors. A maid in a bathing suit doing my house chores. Do not disturb sign on my bedroom door, cause my dick getting ate by my #1 whore. Look, I'm money hungry, about acting a donkey. No longer a junkie, I got rid of that monkey. I'm cheeky, I don't want you fucking with my shit. My neck and my knuckles covered with crushed out shit. Sparkling gold cover my motherfucking grill. Pockets filled with big head $100 bills. Fucking up this rap game with these wicked rap skills. And ain't far from making G's to making meals. I'm a trill BG, uptown hard hitter. On the real, my nigga, I'm a money go get about my paper, my cheese. So before my eyes close, I want my greens to add up to 6 hate, split 'em. Get your fetty nigga, somebody play hate, kill 'em. Bought my paper, my cheese, so before my eyes close, I want my greens to add up to 6 zeros. Get your fetty nigga, somebody play hate, split 'em. Get your fetty nigga, somebody try to stop you, kill 'em. Oh, I gotta get it, gotta grab it, gotta have it. Like snorting dope or snorting coke, it's a habit. I gotta see it, gotta feel it, quick to spin it. Shoot dice all day with my niggas trying to win it. I rap hustle, cause I'm a hustling ass nigga. Also a get told about busting some ass nigga. So you could play with me, about my cheese, you gotta go fool. In a casket, 6 BGs, selling tapes and CDs like selling pick 3s. Rang up 1,000,000 sales, we didn't hit the lottery. I'm a Benjamin Chaser, player hater eraser. Police have no case cause I do murders without a trace. I'm almost at home, I didn't pass third base. I'm playing with 5 figures, when I get 6 I'm straight. If I catch your bitch down bad, I'ma hit her. Paper chasing nigga, BG a money, go get about my paper, my cheese. So before my eyes close, I want my greens to add up to 6 zeros. Get your fetty nigga, somebody clear hate, split 'em. Get your fetty nigga, somebody try to stop you, kill 'em. I'm about my paper, my cheese. So before my eyes close, I want my greens to add up to 6 zeros. Get your fetty nigga, somebody clear hate, split 'em. Get your fetty nigga, somebody try to stop you, kill 'em. I'm about my fetty nigga, I'm about my fetty, by all means necessary. I'm about my fetty nigga, I'm about my fetty, by all means necessary. All about the Benjamin, it's all about the green, the motherfucking loot. BG, I get mine on, I get my grind on, I get my shine on.